My first time was with my mother's boyfriend. Hello, everyone. I'm Dudu. Today, I want to tell you about a weird experience that I will never forget in my life. Really, I think it's outrageous when I tell it. After so many years, I still can't forget it. Since I was a child, I have lived in an unusual family. My parents divorced when I was very young. At that time, I didn't know anything. Since then, my mother has been raising me alone, and life is so difficult. My mother is busy like a top every day just to create a better life for me. I see it in my eyes and feel pain in my heart. I have been very sensible since I was a child. I will never trouble my mother for things that I can handle by myself. Later, I grew up slowly and reached puberty. You all know that at that time, I was like a demon for love, full of curiosity and yearning. I often secretly watched those youthful dramas, and I fantasized in my heart that I could also have a sweet and romantic life. But because of my family situation, I always feel inferior in my heart, and I always feel that I am different from other students. So in school, I don't dare to get too close to boys, for fear that others will look at me with strange eyes. At this time, a man appeared in my mother's life. Let's call him Lao Wang. This Lao Wang is so good to my mother. He comes to my house every now and then to help fix things, chat with my mother, and always brings me delicious food. At first, I didn't have any special feelings for Lao Wang. I just thought he was a friend of my mother and came to visit my house. But after a long time, I found that Lao Wang seemed to have some other thoughts about my mother, and my mother seemed to have a good impression of Lao Wang. I began to be entangled in my heart. On the one hand, I especially hope that my mother can be happy. After all, it is not easy for her to raise me alone, but on the other hand, I am a little worried that Lao Wang will really be with my mother and my life will become a mess. One day, my mother went out to do some work, leaving me and Lao Wang at home. Lao Wang started chatting with me, asking me how my studies were going and if I had any worries. At first, I was a little reluctant, but Lao Wang was so good at chatting that after a while, I opened up and told him all the little secrets in my heart. Lao Wang was like a caring big brother, listening very seriously and giving me advice from time to time. I don't know what, as we chatted, the topic turned to love. Lao Wang asked me, "Do you have a boy you like?" When I heard that, my face turned red and I stammered that I didn't. Lao Wang laughed and said, "Oh, it's normal to have someone you like during puberty. Don't be embarrassed." Then Lao Wang began to tell me about his love story when he was young. He said that when he was young, he fell in love with a girl in the next class. Every day in class, he couldn't help but secretly glance at her. In order to attract the girl's attention, he even went to learn to play the guitar, thinking that he would show off his skills at the school's art performance and give the girl a surprise. As a result, on the day of the performance, he was so nervous that his hands were shaking and he played several wrong notes. It was so embarrassing. But the girl was quite respectful to him and praised him for his courage. From then on, they gradually became familiar with each other and had a passionate love affair. I was so fascinated by what I heard, my eyes were shining, and I thought to myself, Lao Wang continued, "Love is beautiful, but you have to know how to protect yourself. Especially you girls, when you get along with boys, you have to know the limits and don't give your heart away easily." I don't know what happened. Maybe Lao Wang is too good at creating an atmosphere, or maybe the atmosphere that day was wrong. I actually had a strange feeling about Lao Wang. I think he is mature and humorous, and he cares about me very much. He is completely different from those young people in school. Later, my mother went on a business trip and had to be gone for several days. It was just me and Lao Wang at home. That night, Lao Wang cooked a table of delicious food and bought a bottle of red wine, saying that he wanted to celebrate my good performance in the exam. I was very happy at first and thought that Lao Wang was very considerate. But after drinking a few glasses of red wine, I felt dizzy and my head was not so clear. Lao Wang looked at my red face and his eyes changed. He began to move closer to me and said some ambiguous words. At that time, I was very scared, but I didn't know what to do. After all, I had never encountered such a situation. In this confused way, Lao Wang and I had sex. The next morning, when I opened my eyes and saw Lao Wang lying next to me, I was stunned. I couldn't believe what happened last night. I was scared and regretful, and tears kept falling down. Seeing me crying, Lao Wang panicked and quickly comforted me, saying, "I'm sorry I drank too much last night. It was really not intentional." Don't be angry. I will definitely take responsibility for you. I cried and said, how can you take responsibility? You are my mother's boyfriend. How can I face my mother? Lao Wang had no choice but to keep apologizing. My heart was in a mess, and I didn't know what to do. I was struggling whether to tell my mother about this, but I was afraid that if she knew, she would be sad and blame me. But I felt that I was particularly wronged and helpless, and I didn't know who to talk to. Family members, what do you think I should do? This matter is really too tricky. So we must learn to protect ourselves and never let ourselves fall into a dangerous situation easily. Especially when getting along with the opposite sex, we must be clear-headed and not be overwhelmed by temporary emotions. If you encounter something that makes you uncomfortable, you must be brave to say no and find a place to help quickly. Well, I have finished telling you about my troubles today. What do you think about it? Please leave a comment in the commentary. We will talk about it next time. Bye.